All right, so I'm just gonna do a quick tutorial here on using our stencils. We have these cute wood tags that we're personalizing for an Easter gift. So I'm just going to dip my paintbrush. This is one of our premium paintbrushes into the paint and wipe all the excess off. So in order to prevent paint bleed, you wanna make sure that you have very little paint on your paintbrush. And then you just add one light coat, and you can see it's Ethan behind the camera here. We can zoom in just a little bit. So we don't have a lot of paint. It's super, super light. And that way you can make sure that you don't get any paint bleed. What that means is that the paint will seep underneath the stencil and kind of go along with the grain of the wood. So super, super light. So that was probably even a little bit too much paint. Making sure that you don't go over the edge of the stencil. And again, we'll just let that dry completely before we remove it. So we can do another one here too. Again, super, super light. So while that's drying, I'll just do a first coat on this one.
Paula says thank you for the tips, I guess.
Oh yeah, if you have any questions at all about stenciling, just let us know here in the comments. If you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. So every one of our kits has these one-time use stencils in it. So again, you want to make sure, especially with these little fine lines, super, super light. I am not over, well, get right on the edge there. Super, super light. And now we're just gonna let that dry. So it's a little bit opaque-y still. You don't want a lot of coverage.
Paula's from New Jersey.
New Jersey, hey Paula. Hello. So one light coat, that's drying, and you can see on this tag here, the Joseph, I already pulled that. We did 3 really, really light coats. And one of the most important things too is before I applied my stencil was that I sanded it so it was really smooth to the touch. So in your...
Carla's from Newfoundland watching.
Oh, Newfoundland, hello. So what we want to make sure is that your wood is really smooth after you paint it. You get sandpaper in all of your kits, so make sure you sand it down. And we ask you to wait until it's dry to the touch. So when I say dry to the touch, it means it does not come off on your fingers. So it is still a bit tacky, but you can see because I used a dry technique, dry brush, it means hardly any paint.
Mannon's from Sudbury, Ontario. She says she loves your products and videos. I hope I said the name right, but.
Awesome. So this is, I've got paint all over my hands, but that is not from this. So that to me is dry. It's not coming off on my finger, and I can use a new finger.
Marsha's from Newfoundland as well.
Wow, awesome. So again, I'm doing a second coat, and you can see how much of a difference the second coat is from the first coat. Super, super light. And again, I'm doing a little bit of a dabbing motion. You can go left to right if you want.
Melissa says thank you for the tip, watching from Calgary.
Ah, hello. So yeah, super light. You can see that there's no drip marks anywhere, not on my brush. And it's getting heavier. So you can see the difference there between the 1 coat and the 2 coat. So Ethan, we'll show them in the jar here. So these 1/2 ounce jars, they stretch so far. So a lot of the times we give you way too much paint in your kits. So there's like no paint on there. It's just literally that brush holds all the paint inside the bristles.
Sarah says she's from Ontario. She's new to your page, but loves your products.
Oh, awesome. Hi, Sarah. So again, I don't actually have enough paint. You can see that there's no difference. I've wiped too much off. So it's always better to start with less. Super light. And again, I'm running out of paint, so you just go back. I would rather do more coats, really, really thin. And again, if I had kept my transfer tape, see, I could have actually, this transfer tape I kept to the side. You can actually protect your wood if you don't line up your stencil perfectly. Use that to help you, to protect. Then you don't have to worry so much about going over the edge. So I'm gonna let that dry. I did such thin coat there that I'm actually gonna add a third coat. And it is dry to the touch. So again, we have Neela who works for us. This is Neela's grandkids, so we're personalizing these tags for Easter. And I kind of stole her project by taking over to do this demo for you guys. Again, super, super light. And if you have any questions here about this, I hope that this video tutorial is helping. The most common question we get is, how do I prevent paint bleed? So again, sanding really, really well before you apply your stencil. And then we'll just wait for that to dry. And I'm gonna add a third coat. So the paint that we're using here is our new Homeworks Etc. acrylic craft paint. And it's a little bit thicker than other acrylic craft paints on the market. It actually helps to seal your wood when you're applying your paint with the stencil. Awesome, you can hear the Friday tunes in the background. Oh, that is gonna be, it's still a bit wet. See, I can tap that and my fingers got wet. So let that dry. The reason why we let the paint dry is so that when you remove your stencil and all the centers, then you don't have any chances of smudging your paint. So that's why we wait until it's completely dry to the touch. In our kits, we also have toothpicks where you can help to remove your centers of your stencil. I'm gonna go grab that right now.
Denise is from Labrador, loves all your products, just got the dog one, and she's excited to do it.
Yeah, so with our kits, you can use any colors in the kits. Maybe we'll do a little... Oh my goodness. So you have little toothpicks that come with your kit, the sandpaper. These are our premium brushes that I find are super helpful because you have 5 brushes in the kit and you can use them for all the fine detail work, and the wider brushes are for your base coats. The sandpaper here is a 400 grit sandpaper, so it is super handy to use even for distressing the edges. So at any point, you can take your piece, you can sand the edges down to give it a little bit of a distressing. And so it just adds a little bit. You can also clean your edges with the sandpaper there as well. Okay, so I think this one is dry to the touch. So I'm just gonna go and remove the stencil. And again, all of my centers. I'm gonna see what I can peel off with my thumb. So you can see that there is no paint bleed. So I hope that you found that useful. Any other questions that you have about stenciling, please post below.